Hey guys, welcome back to another lesson. This is lesson number 8 on internationalism, and it is going to be one of our final lessons of this format. Next week you are going to be working on a little writing assignment, and the last thing we'll do in this course is our project. So some review from last class. We were talking about genocides and crimes against humanity, and how ultranationalism and the belief that your nation is superior to all of those around you may lead to the extermination or mass murder of a race or slavery or deportation. And we talked about some different examples from history. We looked at a few different examples, and you researched your own example about how ultranationalism can lead to violence against another nation or race. And this can include mass murder, extermination, slavery, or deportation. The final topic in this course is that we're going to continue on while looking, well, should nations act internationally? This is the idea of, should nations help others around the world and involve themselves in issues around the world? Internationalism is when nations look beyond their borders for resources to assist or to protect others. Internationalism can have positive, but it can also have negative effects, and we will look at both sides. So the question we might want to ask ourselves, does internationalism benefit nations? Ultranationalism, we know, is when nations are so focused on themselves, they use violence against others. Internationalism is usually designed to help other nations and to treat the world as one. So I want us to think of today. You know, we view ourselves as Canadians, but we are also part of the human race. And maybe as we start to look at the world as a whole, we start to believe that everybody on Earth can be together as one, and that we can help each other and share resources and technologies. So we will explore examples of internationalism and how it may benefit a nation or how it may hurt a nation. So why do countries pursue internationalism? Well, there's about 4 main reasons why a country might act out around the world. Number 1 is economic reasons. They want to create jobs, they want to get more money and create business for their nation. So this is the people inside their country. Number 2 is to maintain peace and security, to keep their nation safe and other nations safe from war. Number 3, self-determination. This is meaning helping nations make their own decisions so that they're not pushed around or bullied by other countries in the world. Number 4, humanitarianism. This is just helping other nations who are in need by sending them aid, medicine, food, resources. So thinking of those 4 things, can you match each picture with what type of motivation it would be? So for example, peacekeeping. Is that humanitarianism? Is that economic security? Is that peace and military security? Or is that helping nations be self-determined, so to create their own decisions? I want you to be able to match all of the following with one of those on the side there. So let's look at some examples of internationalism. The United Nations might be the biggest example of how the world works together in an international format. The UN, as we call it, has over 190 nations that belong to it. So this means that almost all of the countries in the world belong to the UN, minus a few such as North Korea and some smaller nations that haven't quite achieved their independence. Members from each of these nations, they get together and they discuss important issues such as war, poverty, disease, trade, and the environment. So the UN is like a hub in which a person from each country can get together and they share their common interests, they discuss problems they have with each other, and they try and work out solutions. These members meet at the UN headquarters, which is held in New York City. So take a look at this video here, which is going to go over how the UN works. Another example is one that you may have heard in the news because it's been very important in the last few months, is the World Health Organization. It's essentially a part of the UN. The World Health Organization is designed for countries to get together and to help address world health issues. So things like diseases and pandemics, such as the one with COVID-19. Over 7,000 people from 150 countries work together to solve these problems. The World Health is designed to provide people with health care, protect them from diseases, provide medicine, and help during emergencies. The World Health Organization assists in helping countries deal with things like the coronavirus. So it provides them with information, resources, supplies, things like this. So a question we might ask ourselves is, how have countries worked together to help fight coronavirus? I've given you two different opinions here, and I want you to analyze both and give your opinion on each of them. So the first one says, Emma says the world has changed in the last 3 months due to the coronavirus. If it wasn't for the World Health Organization and nations working together, the death toll would be much higher. The World Health Organization has helped nations access important equipment for doctors and nurses and testing kits. So that's one opinion there. I want you to now read the second opinion. Brian says the World Health Organization works with many of the world's leaders to help share data and number of cases. They help provide advice to nations, doctors, and provide important updates. The World Health Organization also helps fund research for vaccines, which are critical to overcoming the situation. Here's a video as well, which will go over how has the World Health Organization responded to COVID-19. So the question you are to consider is, how important is something like the World Health Organization to diseases and pandemics? You're going to analyze that previous question and try and pick out, well, what is the meaning of each of those, and what is your opinion on the importance of the World Health Organization? Second part is you're going to look at this cartoon. I've given you this little cartoon here, and I want you to be able to analyze what you think the meaning it is. So first start with, what do you see in the cartoon? You need to create some sentences that just describe what it is you see. Any words? Think about, how has the artist drawn the characters? What kind of facial expressions have they used to give you hints? What do you think the artist's message is, and how do you know? And how is it related to what is going on today? So I want you to respond to that in a paragraph form. The assignment that you are going to be working on following this video is you need to understand what internationalism is and what examples of internationalism is. I want you to understand the reasons why nations pursue internationalism. So why do countries work around the world like this? And then I want you to analyze the response of the World Health Organization to the coronavirus. Think about how good they have been doing, what types of things they've been doing to help the situation. So let's take a look at your lesson here. This is online lesson number 8, and the big idea is, should nations pursue internationalism? So I've given you your slide numbers as always, and you are going to follow along on the slides responding to the questions, okay? And I've given you the opinions here to that question of, how has the World Health Organization responded to the coronavirus? For each speaker, I want you to identify and explain what their point of view is, and then include your own opinion based on what you have learned or heard in the news, or what you've talked about with family members, okay? You're going to do the same thing with the cartoon. You're going to analyze, what do you see and what you think the meaning is and how you know. I know you guys can do a great job on this. We are almost at the end of the year, so please let me know if you have any major questions. Take care, guys.